And I've never seen anything like it. I mean, the amount of crap that, like MB14, just in this one performance, right? Just in this one performance, the amount he gets out of the human voice, it's incredible.
What is your act based on?
Basically, all you're about to hear is made with my voice.
This one I love. Fricative consonants add a level of an extra layer of sound. That little buzzy hiss, let's take a look at that. What you're about to look at here is a spectrogram. Spectrogram will show the frequencies on the vertical, time on the horizontal, and then the little blue lines here, the brighter they are, the louder that frequency is. So let's take a look again at the fricative consonant. I see that these sounds right here, right? They're way more populated. Actually, they're populated to begin with, right? The other sounds don't have that upper frequencies because there's not friction between the teeth and the lips, or the lips, right? So that's going to be an extra little layer that he adds really quickly, which is extremely important when looping. Really, really, really big challenge when looping. You have to lay down tracks really, really fast. Otherwise, you're going to just, it's going to be going over and over and over again. The other thing that's challenging about looping is you got to get it right. Get it right the first time, because otherwise your mistake is on repeat. Dum, 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 dum. This is very challenging. So he has to mold the sound. This goes back right here, right? Oh, this part's beautiful. Into that, right? But let's get into the tapping, right? So going back to layering sounds very quickly, right? So he has the fricative consonants, and now he's tapping the larynx to give a percussive element, an attack to the sound. Right, see those dips right here, and then also right here, and then also right here, right? Those dips. What they are is they are a temporary drop in frequency, right? And so that creates an attack.
I feel very attacked!
Relax, relax.
Boo, you get boo, right? The start of the note has some oomph to it. Already, covering more frequencies, covering percussive elements, and he's doing it in the same sound. Here's the big one. That one is big. That one is big because, oh wow, that's a really derp face. I'm going to close that. I'm sorry, MB14. I didn't mean to do you dirty like this. Doing countertenor technique, which is really just falsetto, but done in a really elegant way. These are the vocal folds that you see right here. That gap, you can play with that, right? Full voice is going to have complete closure of those folds. Falsetto, what happens is that these little white little bits in the center, right? They stay open, but they vibrate. And so you'll get a lot of airy sound if you don't manage it correctly. Right? Not really anywhere near the same sound that he is able to project. So being a countertenor or doing things in falsetto that achieve this is extremely challenging. The biggest challenge is that when the folds are open, lots of air seeps through. So he's already done a lot of the upper, right? So if he layers that with his falsetto, you're going to get a little too much sizzle. MB14 actually has a bit of a lower voice, and you're probably thinking to yourself, that doesn't make any sense. That is incredibly, incredibly high singing. What do you mean? So when you have a larger voice, you get to move the folds in a bigger way. Let's show what that is. Larger waves, sound waves, are bassier, right? But they need more space. They need bigger movement. That's why when you listen to a subwoofer or you see a subwoofer, you see that movement, whereas in a higher speaker, you just don't see it at all. This is how it works with the vocal folds. You have this, and then you have this. And even if just blowing that into the mic, you can kind of hear the difference. When I do falsetto, it'll sound like this, which is to say, not as good as him. Versus mighty big difference, right? You might be thinking also like, well, that doesn't sound very good. And you'd be right. I'm not a countertenor. Being a countertenor, training your falsetto takes a lot of time and expertise. The amount of times that I've heard people, lambast and discredit falsetto is obnoxious. Not only do you have to adjust your vocal folds to make them airy, you need a level of consistency. That's harder. Your breath seeps more when you do falsetto. So all of a sudden you have major air concerns in controlling your breath. The other thing is that even though the folds are vibrating, if you spend too much air, you get that obnoxious hiss. Listen to this man. There is no hiss. If you listen very carefully, you can kind of hear it, but dear God, you have to listen super close. Then he ones up it, okay? I'm pretty sure that's English. He one-ups it. There we go. He uses a tilt. Okay, here's a better shot of the thyroid cartilage. The thyroid cartilage is right thither. Those little purple bits, those are the vocal folds, and they're attached to the thyroid cartilage. This Adam's apple thing, this is the thyroid cartilage. When this tilts, because the vocal folds are attached to it, it tightens. It makes it taut like a rubber band. It accomplishes two things. It means that the air has a little bit more of a difficult time just seeping through, so he can better manage the sound. And then on top of that, it lowers the larynx, so he gets a darker sound. And you know it's happening because there's vibrato. This is how vibrato happens. There's a lack of stability in these muscles. These muscles are not strong, the ones tilting the thyroid cartilage, so they wobble. Versus right? Big difference in sound too, very noticeable. So he's using that to add more sound and to strengthen an ordinarily brittle sound. So he is using falsetto expertly to make this higher sound a reality. His breath is point. Now he is adding tilt to add vibrato and a bit more beefiness, but wait, there's more. We can change our vocal tract, our instrument, to highlight certain frequencies and to change certain frequencies. Ya, 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 ya. Or, put another way. Very different, yeah, very different. You can even hear it too. You're gonna hear, instead of ah, you're gonna hear ah, right? Let's play it. Is that still him? Okay, so this is cool too. This is the bee's knees. Remember when I talked about building the loop very quickly? Having both pitch and percussion in just a handful of techniques helps build that loop that much faster. And this man is an expert on looping. He actually has a tutorial on the RC505. Totally worth looking up. I'm absolutely going to go through it. He's a beast. He's an absolute beast. He's so smart. He is using these resonant sounds that also have a percussive element. Remember the this is well, ba, right? Your B's, you got your Z's. There's so much there, so much there. Now, if you saw this correctly, you saw that there are sub-bass frequencies involved. There, sub-bass. This is a technique that I've only seen beatboxers use, and even then, not every beatboxer does it. It's a crazy tech. I have no idea who came up with this insanity. It is bonkers. This is the secret technique. This is the sauce that goes on top of the entire loop and only fills out the layers of the loop by doing sub-bass frequencies with his face hole. The idea here is that you contort your lip so that it is loose down here, and then you suck in air or blow out air, and then the bottom lip oscillates at 20 hertz or below. In other words, beyond the capacity of the human ear, and then it gets into like a physical experience. This subwoofer, right? It's very difficult. You have to control, you have to command seconds, milliseconds of differences with your lip. Who came up with this thing? It's ridiculous. Who thought to just sit there? They made that sound, you're like, I can make that into something. That's what he's doing. Moving his lips at below human hearing. Now, this is the big W right here. He puts all of these things together, all of them together to give you this loop. He has right, and then he has and then and then sub-bass frequencies, and then he also changes technique with the distance of the microphone to his face. Why does that matter? Let me show you. This is called the proximity effect. Watch the lower little frequencies here that are passing by. Watch those as I get closer to the mic. I'm talking. See how those lower frequencies can just get brighter and brighter and brighter? And you probably heard it. That's the proximity effect. The closer you get to the microphone, the more lower frequencies that you're going to hear. He's using that. He brings the mic close, and then he brings it farther. He uses vowels. He uses every trick in the book to give us a wall of sound in like 20 seconds. He arranged this piece. This is his. He wrote this. He arranged this piece with that in mind. That is why this is so damn compelling. Name me an instance where you've heard all of these things come together. I don't think you can. I can't, and I've been doing this for 15 years. Now, unfortunately, as we continued on in this analysis, MB14 got eliminated the next round. He got eliminated because the tune that he picked had a really hard time achieving what Pyramids did, Pyramids being the first tune. He picked Gangster's Paradise. Fabulous song. I grew up on it because I'm old. Can't see it, but there are wrinkles. Kind of. Not really, but they'll come. Gangster's Paradise is not the same song. The way that you build a loop is not very conducive to most pieces of music. Regardless of all the techniques that he made to make this a reality, Pyramids a reality, regardless of that, it's very difficult to do that. Any piece, let alone something written not with that in mind at all. That does not take away from the incredible talent, precision that it takes to do this piece. This should be a lesson in what the human voice can actually do. It's that incredible.